Okay, now I'm live. Now I'm live. Okay, I don't know what happened to begin with. I was trying to get going here, and I was not able to. Let me see if I can get it going here, and everything will look okay. I hope everybody's. Hey, Greg. Hey, Greg. Glad to see you in here. I'm trying to get all my settings right and everything. I hope it looks okay. I'm just. Hey, Daycap. How are you? Yeah, good Sunday, I guess. Hey, Philip. Philip, I hope you understand about my situation on uh, the messages and everything. I get so many, and I use the messenger for my drivers to contact me too. And I have like 5 devices at the house, and when one of them hits, they all hit, and they go ding, then a ding, ding, ding. Sounds terrible. And sometimes I've got people messaging me in the middle of the night. One of them was my brother. I had to actually call him and say, Don, I don't care if you're up at 2:30 in the morning. I may not be. Don't message me something. So I had to get on to my own brother because he's retired and does, you know. Yeah. Well, I hope you understand because I'm getting a lot. I don't know how everybody else is out there. I'm getting a lot of political things. A lot of the same thing too. A lot of people see them and say, "Hey, you need to see this," and I'll get 5 or 6 of the same thing. And we, I understand and everything, but because I use it in a business sense, it's a little bit uh, annoying. I hope you understand that too. It gets to be annoying when I get too many of the same thing, and uh, even if I agree or disagree with whatever they're sending, uh, I don't need 5 of them. And what happens? I get 4 or 5 of the same thing. A lot of political unrest out there right now, and a lot of people are sending all these videos and everything else like that. Yeah, I'm just up here in the shop. I hope the video and there's a sound in the video. Give me a thumbs up on the sound and the video. Of course, I can't double check that without getting a feedback. I've got a yeah, I've got. I'm trying to double check my settings. I hope it's not too bright on this screen over here. It looks a little bit bright. Sounds good. Well, that's good. Picture quality is good and everything too. Well, that's good. Good video and good sound. That's what I'm after. I'm trying to make sure that we bring at least video is crisp. Okay, good. Uh, I need to be crispy. So I sort of like how I like my toast. Hey, Jim. I see Jim C in there too. I've been trying to catch everybody in here that's jumping in. Well, that's right. The subject may be questionable. Yeah, yeah. We'll try to improve on the subject matter as best we can. I mean, uh, you only what's the old saying? Garbage in, garbage out. So it is what it is. You'll see what you see. Uh, I'm not any kind of beauty, that's for sure. So you'll see what you see out there, and I hope you understand that. Well, I hope everything's going good with everybody. Well, hey, Philip, how are not Philip, Patrick. Patrick says the good afternoon because in Austria it is let's see, what time is it? It's 3:07 in the afternoon in Austria, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I hope, how does the picture come through in Austria? Does it come through pretty good, Patrick? I was often curious how good it translates overseas and everything. I mean, it's amazing that we have this technology that I can sit here in a shop in Cherryville, North Carolina, out here in the boonies is what a lot of people would say, and it's transmitted all over the world. Well, good. Yeah. It is, it just amazes you when you think about it. When you think about the technology and what goes on and everything. I'm gonna try to move this chat over here a little bit bigger if I can. Can I increase this screen here? I've got multiple screens up here so I can see different things. Let me see if I can increase that. And that way I won't have to strain my old eyes and everything. Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it, Patrick? I mean, you can be in, of course, you were chatting with them last night, and that wild stream they had up there with CP and all of them. They had 2 or 3 streams running at the same time. I stayed on it for a little bit, but it got a little bit noisy for me, so I just left it, and I had to get on back to do some other things anyway. I had a few trucks to dispatch out last night, and a few other issues. Hold on one second. I've got to. As they're saying, somebody must be coming. I had a itchy nose. I don't know if anybody's coming into my shop or not. Yeah, I thought that stream got a little bit out of control too. I mean, it's like a lot of things. You can have too many cooks in the kitchen, as the old saying goes, and it doesn't make a good stew. And I think that's what happened a little bit. I mean, you really have to have a moderator within the stream itself to make sense. And it got a little bit. I imagine they were having a good time, their stuff, but it gets a little bit, well, yeah, alcohol probably played a part of that too. I don't know how wild it got before the end of the night, but it was, excuse me, like I said, itchy nose. I don't know how wild it got before the end of the night, but it was getting out there pretty good when I was watching it, and I had some serious things I had to do, so I had to get out of there. So that's, hey, Walter. Yeah, I don't think they had to go to a bar. It sounded like they were getting barred up as it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm not a drinker anyway, so I think I've told you guys. Here I am, almost 70 years old. I'll be 70 this next year. Never tasted a beer in my life. I've smelled them a lot, and I used to like the smell of beer because I used to be a curb hop. For those of you not old enough to know what a curb hop is, it's sort of like if you ever watch Happy Days or some of these old TV shows. Although I didn't use roller skates, but I used to go out and wait on the customers out in at the restaurant and everything. And they're actually coming back. A lot of restaurants around here are doing that curb service like that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm respectful of people that, I have a lot of friends that drink, and we've had parties at my house, and, we don't mind, moderate drinking and everything else like that. I mean, that's fine. Out of control drinking, I've never been a fan of. And I've told people in the past, when I was young, I guess I took advantage of the situation because all my buddies knew that I was a non-drinker, so I was always the designated driver. So when somebody have a nice car and they didn't want to wreck it or anything, hey Mike, would you mind driving us home or drive us here? So I I got to drive a lot of nice cars when I was young because I was not the drinking type. So I mean, they could be half drunk or drunk, and I'd be the chauffeur more or less. So maybe a lot of my friends, I may have saved a few lives, and I may have or extended. I don't know if I saved them, but I may have extended a few lives, and I may uh, help the situation a little bit. But that's what I did when I was young. Oh, they called them hoppers. Well, that's what basically that's the same thing. I was a curb hop, and it actually it was probably one of the better jobs I as far as enjoying going to it. And I mean, the pay wasn't great. I mean, I was making 50 cents an hour and tips, and I would get at one restaurant I could get pretty much anything I wanted to eat and drink. At the other one, I was limited to one sandwich and one drink that was free. And so I enjoyed it for a young man. When I think I started when I was 14 or 15 years old. I know I think I was in ninth grade, and it was a good experience. It was a good experience for me, and it taught me a lot. You you can learn a lot when you're young like that, and you're having to learn a little bit. Well, hey, Patrick. I'm not Patrick. Philip. That's Philip Air now, the heavy wrench. I, I didn't see you jump in there last night. I noticed CP kind of took over the airways last night. I don't know if you didn't even attempt anything last night. Yeah. Yeah, I got heavy wrench and heavy machinery. And then you got a heavy host here. So so we got three heavies on the channel, hadn't we? Oh, you're on vacation. Okay, I got you. So where are you vacationing at, Philip? Are you vacationing up north, or did you come down to the sunny, hot south? Well, let me call him Phil. I'm not Philip as much Phil. Yeah, it's a BMW hat. I have a couple of X5s. If you spend a little bit of money with them, they'll give you a couple of hats. So yeah, this is a I've got a I got a 2015 X5 and a 2018 or 19, 18 I think it is. We got the last we got the last BMW X5 with a diesel in it, and both of mine are diesel, and that's the reason I went ahead and got the second one. They've quit making them in the U.S. And so we had looked around, and the 2019s were actually out, but they had some, and I got a good deal. As those go. Oh, you got a Toyota? No, it's not a Camry, is it? Is that what you're saying? Diesel 2X. Okay. Yeah, I like diesels, and see, we got a diesel for the company. We bought a 2018 F-150 with that new four-cylinder diesel in it, and it's a pretty nice little vehicle too. It's a 3 liter. I think it's a 3 liter diesel, and gets pretty good fuel mileage and everything. We like it pretty good. Uh, so we have it and a couple of the F-150s with the V6 in them, and you know, we like them all pretty good. I'm probably going to give that one to my grandson. He wants a pickup truck. He turns 16 next year, and I'm gonna probably, well, let me say, I'm gonna sell it to my son at another real reasonable price. That's the way my son usually gets them. I sold him my F-250 that I had, F-250, you know, fixed up real nice diesel, and had the 6 liter and everything else. And he's got it. He wanted it a few years ago, and I had low mileage on it. And he wants to take advantage of the same thing on this other one. I got low mileage on this blue one that I have. I've got a I think it's a 2018. I can't remember, but I don't use it a tremendous amount. So it's got low mileage, and his son has been taking driver's ed from Grandpa, so he's enjoying that. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be able to get a good vehicle. I think it's only got 21,000 miles on it. And, you know, we haven't used it a ton down here. No, well, his has got, this one will be an automatic. I haven't taught the grandson how to use a stick shift yet, although we have a couple of stick shift cars, and he'll probably get one before it's over with. Let me, I'm gonna reach in here and grab an assorted beverage here. Well, my beverages are getting thinner. I believe my mechanics are enjoying a beverage every once in a while too. Yeah, stick shift is childproof, that's for sure. But I try to get them. I've actually had 2 drivers, or 2 or 3, that I've had to turn down in the past year that have the automatic restriction on their driver's license. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to teach them a stick shift. Now, my son, he actually wanted one when he got out of college and everything. He had an automatic. When he first got his license, we had a Ford Probe. Those had just come out, and he drove it during college. But he wanted something snazzier when he got out. So he got a Ford Mustang with the 5-speed when he got out of college in 90, when was that, 95? Mustang's either a 95 or a 96 he's got. I can't remember. Yeah, that's basically all they are, is a steering wheel holder when you're restricting yourself to an automatic. And I suggest for all people that have got a CDL license to make sure you don't have an automatic restriction, because I mean that's going to hurt you someday. Now, you know, they say the majority of the trucks and contractors are going all automatic, and I may end up having a lot of automatics too. But I would hate to have a restriction on my driver's license that says you can't drive anything but an automatic. That just to me, that puts a damper on things. And you know, what if you're out and about and you got a situation, even though you normally don't drive one that's stick shift? What if you get out there and all you find is a stick shift to drive? You never know what kind of predicament you'll have yourself in someday. And I would hate to think that I would be restricted to the type transmission I could drive. Well, they are. I think stick shifts they're not as prevalent as they used to be. I mean, it used to be that's all they had. I mean, I wouldn't have even thought about a stick shift when I was coming up. I mean, they were so automatic, not stick shift. There were so few automatics when I came up that, I mean, you just didn't think about it. Of course, they didn't even have that restriction on driver's license until recently. Yeah, I'm sort of like that same way too, Phil. I just, uh, I like a stick shift. I like all of them. All the way from a duplex. I was taught early on a duplex transmission that I had with a B model Mac. Okay, I'm getting well, Patrick. Okay, Patrick and Phil. I got them both. They're both heavy, and I'm crossing them up. I'm sorry. uh, yeah, I got to look up to see which. See if I got machinery or or uh, I got a heavy wrench. I got a heavy wrench or heavy machinery. Y'all, you'll have to excuse me. I'm looking when I look at the screen and I just see which one's which is tough. Yeah, I got heavy machinery and a, and heavy wrench, and their first names are both start with a P. So I mean, if you had at least been a Steve or a Jim or something else, it'd been there. But I got both of you with heavy, and both of you's first name starts with a P. So, you're working this old man's mind too much right there. It can be something. Let me get back down to my. Yeah, when I started my driver's license, it was a chauffeur's license. That's what it was called. It's called a chauffeur's license. It didn't say CDL, and I didn't even have my picture on my first driver's license. That's how far back I go. My first chauffeur's license just was a card with my information. It was not did not have pictures. And then I don't think the first one I got that had a picture on it was like in 70. I want to say 74, 5 or 6, somewhere in that. Yeah, I broke the camera. Yeah, that's probably what I did. They had to take it a couple times. Yeah. Yeah, like the old saying goes, they say, well, the camera will add 10 pounds. And a couple of pictures, you look at me and I go, well, how many cameras do they have on me? Yeah. Actually, my first one, I had long hair. I had to show you a picture of it. So I think I've had some little snapshots of it. I think some of y'all that have been on here before, you've seen some of my old videos. And there's one video in there that when my wife and I were just building our house, and you can see I had long hair and I was skinny. The typical young hippie, I guess, or young adult of that era in the early 70s. Oh, you had a Class D. I never had a class. I went Class A. I never had a Class D. But yeah, I didn't have to have a CDLs. I don't think CDLs came about until about 87, if I remember right. I think it was 87 when I had to have my first CDLs. You wish you could have lived in the 70s. Well, the 70s were fun, but the 70s, when you look at each generation, I mean, it's all relative in how much we made, how we, what we had. I mean, there were no cell phones back then. If there were, they weren't prevalent. They weren't abundant. Oh, you started on a B model Mac too. Yeah, I like a B model Mac. I think the style, a B61 truck is a pretty truck. I would love to find one, and I've seen somebody that's done it, that took a B61 and put the Dodge, like it's in my service truck, took the Dodge automatic and the everything, and put in a B61 and really made a nice looking B61. Then he put a bed on it too, instead of a fifth wheel. So he had he had a nice looking pickup truck that he made out of a B-61. Hey, Renegade, how are you? Oh, you were born in 1979. Wow, you're younger than my children. My children were born in 70, I think 71 and 73. So my children are older than you. You were born in 71, were you, Jim? So you're the same age as my daughter. My daughter turned 49 this year. My daughter's 49 and my son is 47. So yeah, I've got children as old as most of you guys. Man, I'm just an old man that's had a lot of experience out here, I guess. I've enjoyed it, and life's been pretty good and everything. I can't complain. I'm turning my head over here and I look at. I got a picture of my dad on the poster board over here. My dad was a truck driver too. 59 model. That's about what I drove too. It was about a 59 model B-61 with the Thermodyne engine in it. I don't know it probably had 200 horsepower. I guess I don't know what the horsepower, 190, 200, something like that. So you turned 41 in January. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Walter. Yeah. Now, Walter, what kind of work do you do? I don't think I've ever asked. Now, are you? So many on the channel. I've got a lot of truckers and mechanics and a variety of different situations out here. So I like to kind of know what everybody does. Well, hey, Ponca, glad to see you. Are you out driving this morning, Ponca, or are you back home? Ponca changed jobs a couple of months ago. And okay, you're doing auto repair. Okay, so you work with your dad on a used car lot. That's good. That's good. And Jim, you're a school bus mechanic. Okay. Which district are you in? What state now, Jim? I'm thinking you're in the South, aren't you? Or am I remembering that wrong? You enjoying your driving, Ponca? Yeah, Ponca used to be the first guy on here all the time, and then now he's changed. Okay, you're in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, I've been to Colo several times. That's what we called it. We call it Colo in FedEx because that's the abbreviation for the terminal up there. So when somebody says, "Hey, I need you to run all the way through to Colo," I got that picture right in the back of my mind. Unfortunately, right in the back of my mind where we got caught in a snowstorm up there and like to not be able to get out because our terminal was it's sort of down a hill. And I don't know why anybody would build a terminal like that, but they did. Hey, AgTech, how are you? Did you get over the live stream from last night? I had to get off of it. It was wearing me out. Yeah, it was a wild live stream last night with all those guys in there. Mine's a little more calm and laid back, and just able to talk to the different guys and you know. Oh, so our terminal is about 25 miles south of you. Okay, cool. Well, I know exactly what the landscape looks like up there. Been up there several times. Yeah, they were. Oh man, let me straighten myself up. I'm falling but too far back down in my seat. Yeah, they were getting a little bit wild on the stuff. Well, my stream is always going to be a little more laid back and not as wild, I guess you might say. I'm like I was saying a while ago. I'm a non-drinker, non-smoker. Try to curb my vocabulary every once in a while. I don't want to get too wild on the vocabulary because, like I've said, I want to be able to project a good enough image, a nice enough image that my wife and my children and grandchildren won't be embarrassed in years to come if it's pulled up. And if they go back and look at me online someday and they say, well, Dad or Papa or whatever the case may be didn't embarrass me too much, because we never know how long these things are going to stay out there. I mean, this YouTube channel may surpass me. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to try to enjoy it and put out information that I feel like people enjoyed listening to. And, I guess I look over here at my dad. I got, like I said, I got a picture of my dad, and he's been gone 31 years now. And it amazes me. I would love to be able to have a good, clear video like what I'm doing right now of my dad that I could kind of relate to. So maybe in 31 years, my grandson can look back at his pawpaw and, have a little memory there. Oh, you like the rough language? Well, to each his own on there. And I get rough enough sometimes out here with my drivers and different situations. But on the videos, I feel like I just don't want to project that for posterity. It just, you never know. You never know how things are going to change. I mean, look at the dynamics of the world now, how much they're changing. I mean, we got things that are taking place now that I would have never thought in all my years that it would happen. Well, I try not to. I mean, hey, Kevin, how are you? You was making a delivery. I like that little truck you got there. Kevin's a hustler. Kevin has become a good friend among all of us, I think, out here too. And see, where you were in Little Rock, Arkansas. Where you were in Arkansas last night. I believe that's right. When I try to remember these things. I think you were saying that you were in Arkansas. Well, I got an itch. But yeah, I try to have a stream that, I'm not going to be embarrassed about. If I pull it up and look at it 10 years from now, if I'm still around, I hope I won't be embarrassed by what I did. Oh, Kevin won something last night. Well, great. You in Hot Springs. Oh, okay. Kevin was a winner. That's great. He won the Capri Mini 3/8 Impact. Well, fantastic. Couldn't have happened to a better person. I'm glad you're able to get that, Kevin. Kevin has a video out there of all the different boxes. He was. I think I kind of laughed at it. I said, "My gosh, he's going to have a condo truck to put all that in," because he had all these different things he was going to put in his truck. So I said, I sure hope he can get it all in there. Yeah. Well, great. I'm glad to see. Oh, he took the live stream down from last night? Well, it may have not processed yet. I don't know if it took it down, but a lot of times these things, they have to process them. Yeah, Kevin, I had to get a hold of everybody up there on the live stream. I don't know who was in charge of that part. I guess CP can tell you. Oh, it's Bearded CB. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, get a hold of the Bearded CB and maybe you can get your tool and everything. Yeah, I feel sure that everybody will be glad to. I mean, it makes me feel good to see the guys that are out there working like Kevin. Kevin's a hard worker. I mean, I don't know. You fell asleep. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin's a hard worker, and those of us that have kept up with Kevin over the past couple of years or whatever know that he's driving here, he's driving there. It's never like, yeah, I'm laying back out on the beach and I'm drinking a couple of cool ones. Kevin, every time I hear him, he's unloading, loading, driving, listening to the live streams, that kind of stuff. So you know he is a hustler. He's definitely a hustler out there, and I told him one time before, I'd love to have him driving for me over here in North Carolina if he ever lived in this area. But I think he lives in isn't it the St. Louis area, Kevin, that you live in? Somewhere in that area. Yeah, you stop. Well, 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, for you. Yeah, that would have been, that's about the time I got off of it too, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's happy to see you win that, Kevin. I mean, like I said, couldn't have happened to a more deserving person, in my opinion, because we know Kevin's hustling, and he could use all the tools and everything because he's doing. I think you're doing a lot of your own repairs and everything. Yeah. Well, hey, technical idea. Yeah, that's a new one there. That's great. I'm glad to see some of you guys get in here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a shop full of tools, so or a couple of shops full of tools. So, and I have a Napa store too. So uh, my wife says I'm gonna win the contest when I die. But you know, who has the most tools? She says I'll definitely win with all the gadgets and the tools and everything else because I do, and I'm still a junkie for it. I love tools, the latest and greatest. I I have a whole toolbox full of stuff that at some time or another in my life was the latest and greatest. Well, JC is definitely JC's a worker. JC's a worker. He has a lot of neat tools and everything. I'm surprised. I don't think JC's on here yet this morning, but you know it's great to see the community of people that we have out here, and I really enjoy conversing with all the different guys, and you know you get some inside knowledge on some things. I mean, we're never too old to not get some information and intelligence from somebody. Uh, when you stop learning, you to me your existence is not as valid, I guess you might say. I want to learn every single day for the rest of my life. I want to learn something, and so that's my attitude. I enjoy, you know, I enjoy computers. I enjoy the trucking business. Everything that I've been involved with, I enjoy. I mean, and it's sort of funny. My wife and I, we were sitting back and I was watching. I had my computer in between she and I last night, and we'd watched some videos of some flower stuff that she likes, and I flipped it over to a video. There's Midwest Trucking. I believe it's Midwest. Gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, he's a great wrecker. He has a wrecker service. Hey, Joy, how are you? Joy, you can't call me now. I'm not at the dealership, so you can't call me this morning. Actually, I have a new phone over here, but I don't even know the number of it. It's the new phone that I had the Spectrum system put here in the shop, so I don't even know the number myself. Yeah, I'm the same way. Tools are just fascinating for me. I mean, I love tools. Yeah, that's yeah. I like what is that guy's name, Joey? Without me trying to look it up, you know who I'm talking. Is it Ron Pratt? That's it, Ron Pratt. Uh, anyway, I like watching Ron Pratt's stuff, and uh, my wife was sitting there with me, and I was watching. You know, he was pulling in on this particular video, he was pulling a skid steer that the guy had lost final drive out in a wooded area. He was doing some heavy mowing and everything out in a wooded area. And I was watching him and everything else. And I said, well, I'll just skip. And I started to skip over part of it. My wife says, no, I want to watch that. I looked at her, I said, you've been watching it too? She said, yeah, this is interesting. So even my wife has enjoyed some of those. Jamie Davis. I don't know if I've watched Jamie Davis. I try to find some good, interesting channels. So you've been collecting for 5 years. That's too. Now you've got some German tools that you've talked about before, haven't you? That other people don't. Are German, and I guess I don't know if they're Austrian, but they're German tools. German tools. I mean, you know, Festool and the Carpenter's and a bunch of others are really great. Oh, Jamie Davis has a record service too. That's right. I'll have to check him out. Is it just Jamie Davis? Is that the name of the channel? He's up in Canada. Okay. Out of BC. Okay. Yeah. I like watching some of those up there. Boy, I tell you what, you can really get some good ideas off of some of these guys that, especially, I mean, because we have a record too. And you know, you get ideas of, well, yeah, that's the way to hook something, tow something, and I've actually bought some of the same tools that like Ron Pratt has. I have several of those on our record too, because they're really handy. And I mean, you'll see some of those and you'll say, wow, I could use that. I mean, that's like we've got the automatic, well, not automatic, it's the hooks that are designed for the steering wheel to lock down the steering wheel. I mean, we used to be the old type that we would just tie strap it and lock it down, but they make a specialized tool, which I've got a couple of them for the record, and you can just hook it up in it, then reach under the seat and then ratchet it down, and you've got the steering wheel snug as a bug and running straight. Because, you know, on the big trucks, we can't lock in the steering like we do a car. You know, when you're towing a car, you can just turn the switch off, and if the wheels are straight, then you've got them locked in straight, and you can't do that with the big truck. So you actually have to tie the steering wheel down tight, and we have that. Yeah, I got some Nipix. I like my Nipix pliers and everything, really good. And yeah, fine. Yeah, I've got some fine, fine. I don't know how would you pronounce it? Is it pronounced fine over there? F-E-I-N, or is it fin? How is that pronounced? Did I say it? Which pronunciation did I say, right or wrong? Is it fine? F-E-I-N? Is that the correct pronunciation in Germany or Austria? I've often wondered about that, because I'll hear the reps over here and they'll say it 2 or 3 different ways, but I've got a couple of their grinders and drills and everything else. Yeah, and that's a good thing to do, Patrick, is to be ready. Always be ready, and I did that over the years too. I tried to accumulate enough tools so when and if the time came that I needed all those, I would have them. Yeah. Godor. Now I've never had any Godor. I guess that's the way you pronounce it. Stall wheel. Yeah, Nipix. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I have that. I didn't realize that was a German. W-I-H-A. I have some of those tools. Of course, Bosch. Yeah, I've got. Yeah, Bosch is pretty big in the electrical stuff over here. There's a lot of Bosch electrical motors and generators and alternators for cars and starters and everything else. You get a lot of Bosch. Metabo, yeah. Metabo makes a really good piece of equipment, pieces of equipment too. Yeah. Well, you got to be prepared. That's just like when we try to prepare our service truck. Our we're taking our one service truck down to Savannah. My Ford F-250. I'm taking it down to Savannah, and we're going to leave it down there. I've got a guy that's a driver and slash mechanic. He's pretty good. He's done a lot of good things for me already, and we want to have the service truck down there for him to do minor repair and keep us going. Now Hitachi is Japanese. If I'm not mistaken, Hitachi is Korean or Japanese, I think. Of course, now I'm gonna I'll tell you the old joke. Now, Patrick may get a kick out of this. I don't know. Years ago, the Japanese were trying to get into the car business, and they went to some German engineers because the Volkswagen, not Volvo, but the Volkswagen and BMW and all the good cars that were being made and everything. They said they wanted to get one made, so they went to the engineers and asked them about doing this and told them what they wanted to have. They were going to start off with a little 4-cylinder car and all their different design, and the Japanese asked him. He says, "Well, how long will that take you to design, develop, and get this on the market for us?" And the German engineers looked at him and they said, "We can do it in 4 months." And the Japanese were just astounded, and they go, "That soon?" No, that's it. But now that's Nissan, so it doesn't even apply. So that's an old joke, guys. I mean, so that's an old, my children call, that's an old daddy joke. And it doesn't even apply as much as it used to, because Datsun and everything is now called Nissan, and I think it's owned by the Nippon organization. But yeah, that when years ago, you could tell that joke 40 years ago, and it was funnier because people knew what Datsun was, or Datsun, because that's way all the Nissan cars came over. Then they were Datsuns, D-A-T-S-U-N, I think that's what it was called. Yeah, Datsun. Yeah, B210. Yeah, that's right. Kevin remembers them. Yeah, some of us used to have some of those old cars, the Datsun B210. And that was a popular car. That was a popular import they had, the Datsun had. And I think after that, they started making the Maximas, and then they changed the name to Nissan. Yeah, Toyota and Nissan both have been pretty good. I mean, there are some good German companies and Japanese companies out there. Certain engineering like that is I think is very good. And when people talk about tools and everything too, there's certain tools that have been developed overseas that are good tools. But you get into the Chinese market and the Korean market. Well, Korea does good on certain things too. They do pretty good. They've developed tires and TVs and everything pretty decent. Yeah, I know it. I tell you something, and you may know this too, Patrick. Uh, Years ago, about I guess 3, 4, 5 years ago, I had a bunch of the Volkswagen diesels, and we were using them as service vehicles. Basically, my guys, I think I had 4 of them, and loved them because they were getting 55 miles to the gallon. Of course, they got caught and spanked over here with their pants down because they were tweaking the situation, and the emissions weren't as good as they were supposed to be. But the darn things were great on fuel. I mean, seriously, we took a couple on trips and we're getting 52 miles to the gallon. And then they bought, yeah, Ag Tech. You take care, Ag Tech. I hate to see you leave. But yeah, they bought all of them back from us. And I thought that they were going to take them and reprogram them and everything else. But I come to find out by some Volkswagen people, I don't know if they're supposed to tell me or not, but they basically just shipped them back to Germany, and the people just snapped them up over there because the regulation wasn't as bad over there as it was over here in the U.S. So they were able to pass the emissions over there without having to just do everything. They may have had to reprogram it a little bit, but they said they were snapping up these Volkswagens right and left because I turned mine in, and I think the highest mileage one we had maybe 60,000 miles on it. But I mean, I turned 3 or 4 of them in, didn't have like 30,000 miles, and great cars. I had a Passat and 3 Jettas, I believe it was, or is it 4? Anyway, we had 4, but they actually bought them, paid them off, and paid me money. So I made money on that deal. I mean, it was great for me. I mean, I'm going, hey, I'll do this every day, because I actually made good money by selling them back to Volkswagen. So it was a good thing. They paid off. I think I owed on 2 or 3 of them. They paid those off and then still wrote me a check. And you know, that's the first time in my lifetime that I've ever been able to get money from a dealership. But that happened a couple of years ago, and I wish it happened. It was like a rebate, I guess, in some description. But they ended up giving us well, and on top of that, they gave us some credit cards that we could buy stuff and just buy from anything. Gave us some credit cards, and then gave you credit in the store. I bought a set of tires for my daughter's car out of it wasn't even a Volkswagen. I think I put it on her car she had at the time. I forget what it was. Yeah, I like it. Now my dad used to have a Toyota diesel pickup, and it was great. Yeah, my dad had a little 4-cylinder diesel pickup, and gosh, I want to say that, what model was that? That was in the 80s, but it didn't have much power. But the crazy thing about these little Volkswagens, these little Jettas and everything, those son of a guns would fly. I mean, they would scoot. I had I even had a Volkswagen Bug. My first attempt on all that, I had a Volkswagen Beetle, and it had the diesel in it. And man, it was. My wife said, "You need to get rid of that. So that's your little hot rod." It was a screamer. It had big tires on it, and I did get rid of it because it was noisy on the inside. It just wasn't quiet at all. But loved to drive it though. I mean, you'd jump in it and it would just, you could just zip down the road in that thing, and it was like a little hot rod. I hadn't heard that name, Hilux. Yeah. Now my mother had an old Hilux, and what was it? They had Vauxhall too. That was a German car. We had a Vauxhall. I don't know if they still make that in Germany or not. You got turned down for a local job. Now wait a minute, for FedEx. What did you get turned down for? I don't understand. Because you've got over a year experience and everything, don't you, Kevin? That would be the only reason you'd get turned down, if you didn't have a year's over the road experience. I'm a Patrick. I buy all kinds of tools. I buy good tools, bad tools. I go to a lot of auctions and buy good used tools. I know that. No, Vauxhall I think was German, or it was something. I don't think it was. It maybe it was. I don't know. It could be British, but I was thinking it was German. Maybe not. It's been so long. I know that was the very first car I wrecked. My mother had a 62 Vauxhall, I think it was. It had a little 4-cylinder, 3-speed on the column. And well, hey, Zach, glad to get you in here. Oh, you're going to get your year and go local. Okay. Okay. Now, was that with FedEx? Was that with FedEx Ground? Okay. I got somebody dinging in here. I don't know who that is. Um, you've been driving since 95. Good gracious. Now, have you been driving consistently since 95? Now, you got a good, clean driving. The only thing your driving record, if you'd had accidents or anything, would be the only thing that would turn you down, I would think. Yeah, there was a lot of uh, non-aspirated engines back then. And you've got a clean. Now, you were trying with FedEx Ground local, and you couldn't. That doesn't make sense. If you've had no accidents or tickets, no accidents, no tickets, and you got a clean work record, man, I could get you on in a heartbeat. I don't know. I don't understand it unless they're. I don't know. And you got experience since '95. That doesn't make sense at all. Because unless the guy was shooting you a line of bull. Because I've had some. I mean, we worked on one recently. Company called Bellman. It wasn't FedEx then. Okay. I started to say, if it was FedEx, I feel sure that I could get you on. Now we have to go through a company that does the third party background check, and they do check real good. I mean, they make sure. We had a guy. I'll give you, for instance, we had a guy that had a DUI, and we knew about the DUI, but it had been long enough that they would take him. And we submitted everything and all that kind of stuff. But come to find out, there was evidently something else either tied to that DUI, but he had a criminal record to go along with it. I don't know if he had if somebody got killed in the DUI situation. I don't know. But he said he's working with it, but he didn't tell us about that. And we went through the entire process, and that got kicked out. So we're working on things like that. I don't personally have to do it, thank goodness. I've got a girl that just works her keister off doing those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, you have to my guys all make more than 1,000 a week, unless they're really lazy and don't come to work. But yeah, our average our average pay right now is about probably 65,000 a year. Yeah. Have you tried to get on with a local FedEx Ground out there, Kevin? I mean, they would jump with your experience and everything. I would think they would jump all over you for that. And you could probably get, I don't know what you're making now, but my guys, like I said, on average, the lower end of my driving guys, the guys that just run the 5 days a week, are usually getting somewhere around 60 to 65,000 gross a year. Uh, yeah, if you wanted to, if if I were you and you're in the KC area, all right, somebody's clicking off from upstate. Is that you, Joey? I'm kidding. Somebody clicked their phone number up on me here from upstate New York. I don't know if that was you or not. I know Joey's up in that area. Yeah, so somewhere I guarantee that St. Louis, Kansas City area, some contractor out there would snap you up in a heartbeat, Kevin. I guarantee it, because I know just by conversing with you that your work ethic is really good, and you know unless I'm misreading something entirely different, I don't see why you couldn't get something down hands down. Or your take home, now that's so you're grossing, but you're putting on a lot of hours though too. And my guys, if they get a local run out there, I mean, my shortest, say, Knoxville or Beckley, somewhere in that neighborhood, a run. That's some of my shorter runs out of Charlotte, and those guys still make gross about 12. I think it's around. Let me see, about 1,200 a week, something like that. I can't remember exactly. I don't do payroll, so it's always, I have to guesstimate in my mind sometimes. I don't know if I hadn't seen Phil say anything lately. I don't know if Phil's still on here or not. Phil's been on vacation, so he may be taking vacation from that. Uh, Now you're saying that, now Kevin, are you saying that I can't believe that FedEx is not hiring out there right now? Because man, I'm trying to get all the drivers I can get, because they're working me. I was short one driver this morning because I didn't have enough. I had the work, just didn't have the driver. And I know there's other contractors in the same situation, because we've gone 7 days a week now, and it's tough. It's a tough road to hoe to keep everybody moving. Yeah, Kevin, you'll have to. I tell you what, you give me your email address, Kevin, and I'll see if I can't email you and get some information. See if I can't find somebody. If you want to get on with FedEx, I'll see if I can't find you somebody out there in your area. Uh, I mean, I don't know what type you want to get. I mean, when we're speaking of local, somewhat, I mean, we do regional. Most of the contractors do regional work. In other words, they like me. All my runs run in and out the same day. A lot of people like to call that local. They call it, it's regional, whatever you want to call it. But we'll get 500 miles. Most of the guys will get 500 miles, but they're in and out, and they get to come back home. I have no drivers that sleep in trucks, uh, unless they just want to sleep. But I mean, I have none that are signed to lay over. In other words, they're going to go to their destination and back, and then go home. And I don't. Okay. Okay. Okay, when you're talking about that, Kevin, now, are you talking about with FedEx? Because I know, well, we don't even pay by the hour. We pay by the mile. Now, if you're talking about somebody, now these contractors can pay what they want to. I mean, we're independent contractors. So let me state that at the beginning. I can't tell a guy in KC or St. Louis how much to pay his drivers because they're independent. And if somebody's willing to work at those prices, that's between him and his drivers. I mean, but we pay by the mile, and then that way, my guys, I think, come out pretty good. Yeah, my guys would average way better than that because the average, like I said, I'm gonna do some quick math here, see if I'm about right. But you can figure the average run is going to consist of about 10 hours a day. Uh, your total time and everything. And let's see, divide that by. Yeah, my guys would, if you were to figure it out in hourly wages, it'd be almost $26 an hour. So you mean city work? You talking about with the package vans? Now the package vans, if you're talking about that kind of work, which I don't think. Now, Kevin, how old are you? I can't remember. Aren't you in your mid to late 40s? Or I'm just guessing. I can't remember. But you get to a certain age, you don't want to do package work. I quit package work when I was 36, and my knees were wore out then. I mean, I did some package work. If you're talking about city work with a tractor trailer, they do pay different because they're paying off. I mean, and the guys, like I said, they're independent, so I don't know what they've got, but yeah, well, I understand, and that's what most guys, there's you come a point in time in your life that most people want to stay closer to home. I would think, unless you're just a loner. Now, there's some guys that are just loners that they love being on the road as much as they love being at home. I've never been one of those people. I've always wanted to have. Okay, so you're 60. Okay, well, you're older than I thought. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely would not want to get into a situation where you were doing package work too much because it is not as good. But if you could get you a local run that would run in and out every day, I think that would be probably satisfactory. I mean, I know they probably have some. I don't know the routes real well out there, so I couldn't tell you how far out they go. But usually, all the different hubs have what we used to call them butt heads. Now, because of the connotation, because of the way it sounded, they made us meat points, what they call them now. But a lot of us old guys, we still call them butt heads. But we go out to a certain location, meet a driver coming that's meeting us halfway. We turn around and go back. That's what 90% of my work is involved with. Now, some can go to a terminal to terminal, but like I have guys that run every day to Richmond Hill, Georgia, and they switch out in the truck stop with guys coming out of Orlando, Florida, and that's a halfway point for them. So they'll meet there and swap paperwork, swap trailers, turn around and go back the other direction. So it works out good. I mean, because the downtime, by the time you take your 30-minute break, you're ready to go back. Yeah. I would say, I don't know who you've been talking to, but I guarantee that there's several contractors probably that would love to have you work for them. I mean, I can't vouch for the St. Louis area because you know, don't know it. I have never been to St. Louis. That's one town I always wanted to go to, but I've never been there. Uh, I got we got a friend. I don't know him well myself, but he he's in Kansas City. I said St. Louis. I don't know about Kansas, but there's a guy that played football that's from Shelby, which is not too far from here. Grew up, then went on to play pro, and everything was a big time Kansas City Chief and everything. Bobby Bell is from this area, and I always wanted to go out. They say he has a great barbecue restaurant, and I always thought, I said, man, if I ever get out there, I'll go to Bobby Bell's barbecue and check it out, because barbecue's big over here in this area. And he was taught by Mr. Bridges over here how to do the barbecue the Shelby way. Of course, he's probably modified it his way too, but I always thought that would be a good thing to do, is to go see Bobby Bell's restaurant if I ever make it out to KC. Yeah, Kevin definitely is on the road a lot, and I'd like to. Yeah, if you can send me your email information, I'll try to see if I can check within the system and see if there is anything. Oh, now those ramps are good. Now they're dirty. We use those all the time. They powder coated them up pretty good. No, gosh, Jim would shoot me if I got rid of those ramps. He loves them. Oh, they every Cascadia we drive in here. I mean, of course, they're not going to get abused that much. All they're doing, they're a real nice set, because I think if you've seen the demo that I put up out there, shows Jim sliding them under the truck, but they're really nice. Yeah, they keep them handy right here, because they are the stuff for all these low trucks we've got. Low clearance trucks. I mean, these new ones you can't slide under, because there's nothing you can do to get under them. We've had some of them to break down on the road, and we had to tow them in because we couldn't get underneath them to fix them. So it's tough. It's tough for these ones that are really some of the Volvos and the Freightliners and all of them. They're hard to do out on the road. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff powder coated up. Just up the road from here, one of my good friends has a powder coat business that he does real well with, and so we've had a lot of things here for the shop or over at my Napa store. I mean, a ton of things that we've had. Say if something that we've welded up or whatever, and I just want to get it powder coated, I can take it up to advanced powder coating right up the road, and he'll knock it out for me. It's a lot easier than some of the other stuff you have to do, and he can do it as cheap, if not cheaper, than anybody else. And by the time you clean something up and get it prepped and everything else, and it's baked on there. It's baked on there good. But I like powder coating. I mean, for the right application. Yeah, I mean, Joy, it's hard. I know very little about the package van situation nowadays. I did that for about 6 months when I first got started with RPS. Couldn't wait to get off of it, I can tell you that, because I knew that when the opportunity came for me to get a line haul, I wanted it, and I did. I got the first line haul out of Hickory, North Carolina, back in '87, and so I was tickled to be able to do that. And I've grown the business since, just doing line haul work. Yeah, this boy up here that powder coats, he powder coats everything, toolboxes, frame rails, entire. You'll go up there. Sometimes you'll see an entire like dirt track car, nothing but a frame out there, and he's powder coating it. Well, hey Josh, I'm glad to see you jump in here. Did you stay on a long time last night on CP and Bearded CB channel? I'm gonna see what this attachment is. I get somebody keeps clicking an attachment. I hope this doesn't knock me off here. Okay, what is this? Okay, somebody sent me a picture of a building. Is that you, Joey, that sent this? It says less than 5 years old. Good morning from upstate. I don't know. Let's see what this is. I hope it doesn't knock me out here. Oh, okay. That's a FedEx building, isn't it? Yeah, right off of 90. Okay, at least that's what it looks like. Yeah, you'll get some cheap powder coaters out there, but my buddy up here, he's real good. He's real good with everything I've gotten from him has been really good, and he's taking some. Of course, it's all on how you prep stuff. It comes sometimes I've got some stuff that I've had him to powder coat, and he said, "You want me to knock off all this stuff here and do this and do that?" I said, "I just want it painted." And he'll say, "I thought that's what you wanted for that," because it might be something just structurally rough on the outside or whatever. And I've had him do stuff like that. But I mean, you can make it look slick as you want. The slicker you've got it, the slicker it is. I don't. Oh, so that's FedEx ground terminal up there near you. Yeah, it's a pretty good size hub. Looks like. I don't know what is the location, Joey. What town is that in? Hmm. Yeah, just yeah. I'm not. I have not ever been to. Have I been any? I don't. I've never been to a terminal up in FedEx in New York City. Now my no, it's not cheap. I get it real reasonable down here. I mean, my buddy owns the place. He does work for me. I do work for him. So it's been real reasonable for me. It's sometimes I wouldn't want to have to mix the paint because I know the cost of paint with my store. I wouldn't want to have to mix the paint and prep it the old way and still have to do it. Because a lot of people, they just for coloring stuff and getting stuff, we're using vinyl. No, those ramps. I wish I'd made them. Those ramps come from Napa. Some company in Pennsylvania, I believe, makes that for Napa. They're really well made. I mean, they're heavy duty. You have to go. You have to go on. I showed that on one of my videos. Just go back. Uh, I had show you the link, but there's on one of my past videos. I show the use of those ramps, how we use them. But I mean, you can pull a tractor trailer truck up on them. No, thank you, Josh. Yeah, they're very heavy duty. They and they got a handle. You pull it out and move them anywhere you want. Well built, well designed. The design is really good. Oh, that's East Greenbush. I've never heard of that town, but that's close to you, is it, Joey? Yeah. We mix paint at our Napa store, and we've got the Sherwin-Williams. Not Sherwin-Williams. One of my, I'm losing my brain here. Martin Senor. I think Martin Senor and Sherwin-Williams are sort of tied together, though. It's Martin Senor's who we use. Yeah, well, to do that, and you don't want to. There's certain things that I don't want to build myself, especially if I'm going to use it in a shop situation that hadn't been DOT certified. Because if something were to break and one of my guys were to get injured, then I could lay myself out for a lawsuit. Yeah, yeah, those ramps are nice. They're not cheap, but they're nice. Yeah, I mean, you could look at them and design them, and you could build them like that. Like I said, for the situations that I have, it's I think it's safer for me to just go ahead and get something that's designed really good. And uh, wow, they got that Mac. Okay, got a update on software here that I need to double check. It's you got to weigh the pros and cons with that. So and the time it would take to get it right. And if it's and you look at most of these shops, I mean they're fabbed up. Their fabrication is really neat. I mean they've got a machine for turning this. You turn this, bend this, whatever. You know, got it welded just right. I mean, it's it's good for one thing, and I don't know how many people's been out there actually building stuff on their own, but you can build, especially when you're building two of them. You have to think about this. If if they're not exactly right, then you could. Well, hey Tim, yeah, I would rather I mean, I'm confident when we use these ramps that my guys are not going to get hurt using those. That's just like my sterile coney lift that I've got over at the other shop. I know some of y'all have seen that. And when you see that sterile coney lift, it is the same way. It is well designed. It I can put a tractor trailer truck 10 foot up in the air and feel confident that it's nothing's going to happen. So I like stuff like that. I mean, of course, now I paid real big money for that. That's a high dollar piece of equipment. Well, in some areas, I'd like to have a pit in some ways, and in some ways I wouldn't, because I've seen some of the nastiest pits I've ever seen in my life in certain places, and I'm going, geez. I mean, I wouldn't want to step down in there because they're so greasy. But I mean, I can see the convenience, and I've got a friend that owns a one. He's got probably the neatest looking place over in near Shelby, above Shelby, and he does it for cars. And he's actually got he built a building that's actually got a basement under it, and he's got everything frame railed, and he can pull it and move it and modify it so he can bring different pieces of equipment under it, and then he can get up under it. He's like a huge pit. He's actually got a basement. He's got an entire floor, and then he put all this steel in there. I mean, well designed for cars. I don't know if I would want to do it for tractor trailer, but it could be done, I would imagine. But you'd have to use some really heavy steel. But he's got that laid out, and he can change the sections on it and everything else, lay out the metal, and pretty neat situation. But it's a place called On the Go, and he does oil changes and everything for cars. And that way he never has to lift the car up. He's and like I said, it's a basement. It's not a pit. The entire he's got the entire section, probably I want to say 40 by 50 section underneath there is an entire basement, and his guys can walk underneath there and reach up and get everything. I don't know how he got that approved, but he got it, and it's neat. I don't know if I could do, like I said, I don't know if I could do it for a tractor trailer. Yeah, you really do. You have to keep a pit clean. Now, his is designed so he can pressure wash it out real good, and he's got a door underneath. You know, he can walk on outside from underneath there and everything else. So his is really, really neat. One of the neatest I'd ever seen in my life. And I saw one up in Virginia one time that I thought was real neat too. But you'll see some of these old guys, I mean, old pits the guys have, and they it looks like a dungeon in there sometimes. And you know, just the metal steps going down, and just not a very conducive, nice, clean shop, something you'd want to work in. And I mean, that's the key to it. I mean, we're not a fancy shop here, but I think we're a nice, clean, workable shop. And my guys enjoy working here. And, you know, there's aspects of this shop that I need to change over the years, but I'll get around that when I get around to that. You know, that's all we can say. And that's the key to it. I mean, whatever you take your own pride. I mean, if you take pride in your work, uh, this shop here is primarily used by Jim. Jim and Larry share this. Larry does a lot over at the other shop. Uh, they both have ways of doing things. Jim's a little bit neater in his what he requires for his layout, and I respect that. And Jim does a good job. Uh, Larry is a little more scattered. Larry he does great work, but he leaves tools where he wants to leave tools, and his pickup's that way too. So you have to dig to find a spot to get in his pickup sometime. But he carries everything in it. He knows where it's at. I don't. But so I can't fault him either, because he has his mode of doing things, and they both get the job done. That's the main thing. My guys get the job done, and we've had other mechanics that I can't speak highly enough of them. They were lacking sometimes. Am I doing a shop tour? Well, I have to. I've done them before. Uh, maybe do y'all think you'd like to see a shop tour? Yeah, I don't have a heliport, that's for sure. Uh, shop and toolbox. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't have one toolbox. I've got about 20. So 20 or more probably. In this shop, let me see. How many toolboxes? We got 1, 2, 3. We got about 10 on the back row back there. And then Jim's got 2 right there, 1 over here, 1 over there. Where's that small one at? I don't know where that tool cart is. We got a tool cart somewhere in here. I don't know where they put that. Then on the other, then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 over on that back wall. I've got 15, 20 toolboxes in this shop. But and then the other shop has probably another 25 toolboxes too. And so it's kind of hard for me to do a toolbox tour, because we have so many multiple toolboxes. I would probably wear somebody else. I don't know how interesting I can make it. I'm go, and I get a, when I look at those, I go, well, here's 9/16. Here's a screwdriver. Here's a ratchet. Uh, I don't know. I see the guys, and for the guys that let me kind of reestablish this a little bit. See, I don't put a lot of money into the actual tool boxes themselves, because to me, yeah, I forgot, there's two more toolboxes there and two over there. Yeah, I have 25. I have good 25 toolboxes in here. See, I use them as filing cabinets for me. I mean, we're able to file away the tools, some that we use a lot, some of them that we don't use a lot. Uh, but I'm able to keep them organized that way. Uh, I buy a decent little box, but to me, they're file cabinets. I guess I have so many because, like I said, we do have a lot of multiple tools and a lot of different tools, and I'm able to maybe keep a specialized tool that I want to keep, but I don't use all the time, and I can put it in a specific toolbox and find it when we need it. So that's what we do. But I look at, I'm not going to buy one of these $30,000 toolboxes. I'll tell you that. I just can't see it. It's a filing cabinet to me. It's, if, maybe these a lot of these are Husky. I can tell you that straight up. That's probably the number one toolboxes I have, is a bunch of these Huskies, because I get them really reasonable, and yeah, well, the Napa store, and I can do the Napa store. I can do that one day, and I'm proud of the Napa store. We got a pretty darn good store. It's I'll have to take y'all on a tour of that one day. But as far as these others, I I would think I'd bore you to death, just pulling out a drawer. Yeah, there's some more screwdrivers. Pull out this. Yeah, there's this, and I don't know. I'm just, to me, I mean, I can show you what I've got. I mean, one area we have over there that I've used, I kind of like this part of the toolboxes. I knew that I needed for my bolt bends over there to have a good sturdy top. I mean, these Huskies are nice little boxes in a way, but I knew if I were to throw these bolt bends on top of these Husky boxes, that I would eventually tear them up. So what I did, I took the wood tops off of these Husky boxes, and then came in and double thickness my. I got two pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, and then staggered them across because I didn't want them to hit the crack the same spot and everything. So I took 8-foot pieces, and I got 2 of the 4-foot boxes, and I sandwiched them together and took the smaller tops and made one continuous top across a couple of them. So that helped. Yeah, my guys are knowledgeable. My Napa store, I'm real proud of my Napa store. We've got some good, guys that have been in the business for years, and I don't have the super duper fancy Napa store guys that you'll see the advertisements and everything, how some of them are, and you get the bigger city guys. Sometimes you'll get the young guys that are ADD or whatever. I've had those that just all over the place and don't know how to concentrate. I've got the old country boy parts guys that you come into the store and you hear them. They're not going to be in a hurry to try to get everybody out, but they're going to be knowledgeable and proficient with everybody they wait on, and that's what I do like about my store. I mean, I'm very happy that my guys, like I say, are very proficient. They do the job well. When I need something myself for down here at the shop, or my guy or Jim and Larry need something down here at the shop, they are confident they can call Herb or Richard or Tim or Brent. I've got 5 guys over there, Eric, and any of those guys are very, very competent and proficient and can help them and get something done. And that's what I need myself when we're calling over there to get something for the shop. So it works out pretty good. We just use our pickup trucks as far as delivery, Joey. I don't have. I've got a couple of decaled up trucks, but my guys, I let them. We actually let them use their personal vehicles a lot of times because they may need to go somewhere else, and I'm very in a relaxed state on these type things, and my guys seem to like to use their own personal vehicles. I mean, unless we got something heavy, then we got the pickups and everything else. But a lot of times it's a part that's small. You can just carry it in a car or a pickup or whatever, and we do it like that. Yeah, well, it's good to buy local. I don't even care what country or what area you're at. If you buy local instead of trying to go to all the big box stores, I think you're doing yourself a good service because it's a struggle for the small guy. I can tell you that it's a struggle. I've been in several small businesses and I've got friends that are in business and at different levels. It's still a struggle to uh, the margins that we get for profit are small. Uh, they're not huge margins. I mean, you're not going to go into a store and and you figure the gross profit, and then you start deducting out your lights, your payroll, and all the other things. Then your margin for profit is very, very slim on a retail store. Hey, Chris, you finally made it in here. I was going to say I was hoping you'd make it in because I got your invitation. I got your invitation in the mail, and so I'm glad to let you know that. And uh, I know you've been busy with all kind of different projects. I'm just trying to figure out how to get you and the missus something nice and everything. Yeah. Well, I hope we're making it interesting this morning. I've enjoyed this morning's podcast here. Well, Tim, you take care. Okay, you help reopen the wife's cafe. Yeah, I guess it is. It's almost 11 o'clock here this morning. Hey, Ralph, how are you doing? You doing good? Good and healthy out there in California? Yeah, it's still early for you out there, isn't it? It's what 7:41. Yeah, yeah. Patrick's now. It's getting late over for Patrick. He's in Austria. Ralph's over in California. So, oh gosh, I mean, Ralph's 3 hours different from me, six. Yeah, between Ralph and Patrick, that's 9 hours difference in time. I saw that, Chris. I thought that was very nice, and we'll try to figure out something. Yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock for you out there, isn't it? Yeah. Uh, yeah, we'll try to do something nice for you and the missus, and see what we can come up with. You're like me, because you're in your 30s, so you've had a and you're well established for a young man. So yeah, you I can understand. I can understand how you feel on that, and a lot of times, Oh, so you were chatting with somebody from Alaska, from Jim from Alaska. Yeah, yeah. And you know, we'll talk to some people from Australia every once in a while. I have some guys on from Australia, and Australia is, I guess, just about halfway around because they're 12 hours ahead of us. So we talked to somebody from Australia right now. They'll be in tomorrow. They're already Monday. Of course, Patrick will hit Monday before I will, won't you? You're 6 hours ahead. Now, Patrick, have they opened up any of the sports over there in Austria? Have they allowed soccer or football, as y'all call it? Have they opened up any of the sports over there yet? Yeah, yeah. Australia is the other side of the world for us. Yeah, for sure. And down under too. It's other side, and you're going downhill. Well, that's the way they're doing over here. Baseball's opened back up. No fans. NASCAR, as far as the driving part, they let them have 30,000 people in Bristol the other night, but they had to distance and take all these different precautions and everything. Of course, Bristol holds 160,000, so it didn't look like anybody was there, even with 30,000 in there. But they allowed 30,000 people to get in the stands. Yeah. Well, this stuff it's wreaking havoc with the entire world and the entire world economy. Uh, don't know what is going to happen. It's never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Never have. And I've been through a lot of things. I went through the polio scare when I was a young boy. I mean, there were so many polio. Uh, we had the polio vaccine back then, where every Sunday for 3 Sundays in a row, I believe, everybody went to their local area and was vaccinated. And they just about eradicated polio. They say it's popping back up a little bit, but that's the nearest that I can think. That's the nearest that I can think of back then. Yeah. Now y'all have to root for my buddy Landon. Yeah, I know y'all have seen me interview him. Uh, he'll be out in Texas. He was on. I don't know how they did yesterday. He had to pit yesterday for gosh, what's that boy's name? The 9 car. Uh, Grace Gregson. I Grace. I can't remember the boy's name. But anyway, he pits for the 9 car on Saturday when he does the Saturday race. And then today he's got to do the Cup race. He'll be doing the 24 car. He'll be doing the fuel for it. Landon's a good guy, and I don't know if you saw the interview that I did. If you hadn't, go back and pick up on it. I've had him on here slightly a couple of times. Great young kid. I'll say young, but he's a big boy. He's 6'6", 6'7", something like that. Big guy. He can handle those big 13-gallon fuel cans without any problem. Oh, Gateway's open now? Okay, so hopefully NASCAR will get out there and be able to race out there. Yeah, they're limiting some of the northeastern tracks and the western tracks. They can't even go to now. So the Watkins Glen was changed to they're going to do the Daytona race, the road course race down there, which would be kind of interesting and different. Although I like Watkins Glen to watch, but Cuomo wants to know everything. So so I don't know what they're going to do up there. Yeah, 2020 has been a pretty crappy year. That's for sure. That's pretty sure. That's pretty much. It'll go down in history as being one of the crappiest year worldwide. I think. I mean, not only nationwide for us, But I think worldwide, this is going to be one of the